If you'll take your seats, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to call this meeting to order. First thing we're going to do today is our fellow Lynn and Jeff Snyder is going to say the invocation for us and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You would pray with me? Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for this beautiful community that we live in. Thank you for the freedom that we have to gather and to make decisions that benefit all of us. Lord, I pray that you would permeate this place with a spirit of peace, that you would give wisdom and discernment to our elected officials, and that you would put a hedge of protection around our staff, our law enforcement, and our first responders. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the opportunity that we have to live in this great city. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Okay, first thing on the agenda. Thank you, sir. All right, first thing on the agenda is additions, deletions, and modifications. So I know of one addition we have. We're going to have Mr. Corey Langford, the chairman of the Charter Review Committee, come to give us a briefing tonight. I will propose that we put that on the agenda, the very first thing under new business, so a new number 11, and push the rest down one number numerically. Are there any other possible additions, deletions, or modifications?
Mayor, let's go ahead and do the item for Commissioner Tender to be present via telephone.
Yes. Well, even before we get that far.
I'll make a motion to allow Commissioner Tender to attend through teleconference.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. For our public attending tonight, this is Commissioner Tender is actually on a cruise right now with her family. She is dialed in, so she's going to be more comfortable than we are on a lounge chair somewhere, soaking up some sun and some seawater. But she is dialed in with us, and the rest of the commission is going to allow her to participate by phone tonight. Because we have a quorum here already, Florida law allows us to do this, but we have to formally approve her participation telephonically. So that's what we're doing now. Any questions or general comments about this? Okay, if not, Mr. Lightfoot, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Lowry?
Yes. So the ayes have it. Thank you all. All right, now, thank you for that, Commissioner Warwick. Now back to additions, deletions, and modifications. Does anyone have any other changes to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, if I can get a motion to add the CRC brief.
Motion to add the Charter Review Committee brief.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. For the public, the chairman of the Charter Review Committee tonight is here for us. For those of you that have been attending our last several commission meetings, this has been a discussion point. The commission actually gave our Charter Review Committee, which is a group of 5 citizens, tasked to help us review our city charter every 5 years, an opportunity to come up with some wording. Particularly, we're looking to have a referendum added to the August primary ballot on August 18th. We're asking the voters of Lynn Haven to essentially authorize the city clerk. That would be a direct report to the city commission, just like the city manager and the city attorney. So they're coming up with some verbiage for that. The chairman is coming back to back brief us on that and another possible referendum ad as well. So that is why we are adding them to the agenda tonight. Any questions or discussions on that before we move forward? Hearing none, Mr. Lightfoot, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Lowry?
Yes. So 5-0. Thank y'all for that. That will be the Charter Review Chairman's brief will be the new number 11. Number 11 will become number 12 and add one number to each for the subsequent agenda items. With that, we have 3 proclamations tonight. The first one is the month of the military child for 2026. I'm going to read it, and then I will ask Ms. Whitney and Courtney Warwick, two lifelong military children, now young women, to come up and accept this. So the proclamation, whereas thousands of brave Americans serve in the military and have taken the oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and whereas the children of those brave men and women have made significant contributions to our schools, community, and the country, despite prolonged and repeated absences of one or both of their parents. And whereas Lynn Haven's military children are a source of pride and honor for us all, and it is fitting that we take time to recognize their contributions, celebrate their spirit, and let our men and women in uniform know that while they take care of us, we will take care of their children. And the recognition of April as the month of the military child provides a special opportunity to pay tribute to military children for their commitment, their sacrifice, and their unconditional support of our troops. And whereas Lynn Haven residents are encouraged to observe this month by connecting with military children and their families to provide support to all children affected by the deployment of their military parents and other caring adults in their lives. Therefore, I, Mayor David Lowry, and the Commission do hereby ask all residents throughout the city of Lynn Haven, Florida, to join us in recognizing the strength and resilience of our military children and youth and celebrate April 2026 as the month of the military child. So, would Warwick's ladies times 2 come forward? All right. We have 3 proclamations tonight. That was the first. The second is for National Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitats for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas the city of Lynn Haven is once again been approved by the Arbor Day Foundation as part of the Tree City USA program for our community forestry efforts and our commitment to create a greener, healthier community. Now, therefore, the City Commission does hereby ask that all residents throughout the city of Lynn Haven, Florida, join us in supporting this worthwhile project to protect our trees and woodlands as we celebrate and proclaim April 24th, 2026 as National Arbor Day. Okay, our third and final proclamation tonight is Professional Landscape Architecture Day. And we will have Miss Patricia Castellano come forward to receive this at the conclusion of me reading this. Proclamation. Whereas landscape architecture encompasses the analysis, planning, design, and stewardship of the natural and built environment, translating vision into action to shape places that are healthy, safe, and resilient. Whereas Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 is recognized as Professional Landscape Architecture, or PLA, Day, celebrating the licensed professionals whose expertise in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM) is essential to the infrastructure and quality of life in Lynn Haven. And whereas the United States approaches America 250, we recognize that landscape architects have historically shaped and continue to steward the American landscape, creating enduring places that embody democratic values and cultural heritage and advance opportunities for future generations. And whereas the licensed practice of landscape architecture is a critical safeguard for the public health, safety, and welfare, ensuring that outdoor environments from therapeutic gardens to playgrounds to complex stormwater and transportation systems are designed with technical rigor and ethical responsibility. Whereas landscape architects are uniquely qualified to address a changing climate through the resilient and sustainable green infrastructure design strategies to restore ecosystems, mitigate environmental hazards, and reduce the long-term financial burden of disaster recovery on state and local governments. And the economy of Lynn Haven is strengthened by the work of licensed landscape architects and accredited programs at Florida International University and the University of Florida, who together foster tourism, economic development, and environmental protection. And landscape architecture is a regulated profession in all 50 states, and the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations ensures the highest standards of professional competence through rigorous education, experience, and examination requirements. Now, therefore, the Lynn Haven City Commission, by virtue of the authority invested in us in Lynn Haven, Florida, do proclaim April 2026 as Landscape Architecture Month and Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 as Professional Landscape Architecture Day, calling upon all citizens to celebrate the landscape architecture in action and the essential role landscape architects play in shaping a resilient, safe, and enduring American landscape as we move forward with American 250. Ms. Castellano, would you come forward to accept this, please? All right, moving on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items up tonight: an approval of our regular meeting minutes for March 10th, special meeting minutes for March 16th. We have the appointment of 2 individuals to the Board of Adjustment, Mr. John W. Erickson Jr. and Robert Griffith. And then item 10, approval of resolution 2026-03-528.
May I read that resolution by title?
Sure.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with Garber Chrysler Dodge Truck Incorporated relating to the purchase of a 2025 Dodge Durango police pursuit vehicle in the amount of $43,353.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any public commentary for the in specific regards to our 4 consent agenda items? Hearing none. Mr. Lightfoot, would you take the roll?
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender? Mayor Lowry?
Yes. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you. We have no old business tonight. We have no table business tonight. So the next item on the agenda is our new number 11, Chairman Corey Langford of the Charter Review Committee. Good evening, sir. Good to have you.
Good evening, Commission, and thank you for making this addition to the agenda to hear this presentation. Mr. Harrell, would you mind pushing the slides? Thank you. So most of you all know me, Corey Langford. I'm the chairman of the the Charter Review Advisory Committee. So tonight, the presentation is kind of broken up into two parts. One is just kind of just as a reminder of who we are, when we meet, kind of some of our priorities, deliverables that you all can expect from us, the timeline associated with those deliverables, and then finally your options as to what you all can do with those. We'll shift over then to the first two proposals after that. So the members, again, my name is Corey Langford, the chairman. Mr. Ryan Scray is the vice chairman. Mr. Tommy Tucker, Mr. Jamie Marler, and Mr. David Switzer are all part of the committee. We all work well together. Very diverse backgrounds, very different experiences, and very, very proud to have them on the committee. We meet twice a month. Typically, it's the Wednesday after the commission meeting. That might change. Some people are on vacations and different types of things. For example, in November and December, we only met one time a month, and that was just due to the holidays, naturally. From January through March, we met twice a month, and we'll continue to do so unless there's some planned absences. We meet right here in the chambers at 5:15. For anyone that wants to see what we're going to be discussing, that's on the city's website. On our agenda is posted, so feel free and go take a look and see if it's something you're interested in. So our priorities. So first of all, you all asked us to stand up. Our top priority was to evaluate the city clerk position, whether it was viable and we should go in that direction. We determined that. Not only were we going to review just that area, we were going to do a deep dive into the charter as well. So we chose to do it kind of sequentially, section by section, if you will. Obviously, we started with the city clerk in that area. That was more appropriate in the section 20s and so on and so forth. So we finished that area where we finished 1 through 7, I believe, and then tomorrow we're going to begin on 8. So just to kind of give you an idea, that's the pace at which we're moving. That pace could slow down or speed up as the complexity increases or decreases. So the deliverables to the commission. So what you can expect from us, we're normally going to provide you all with a draft ordinance and a draft resolution of the proposed change. That's a formal way to provide that to you all. So the ordinance is going to be the proposed charge of the verbiage, and the resolution is going to be the ballot language to accompany that verbiage. So why do we give that to you all in that format? Well, first of all, it provides kind of a launch pad for you all to begin with. You're not starting from scratch. This is not just something we drew up on a bar napkin and handed it to you. It's actually a legitimate, formalized way to present that to you all, so you can go from there. It also ensures version control, so we can kind of track where we're at in that change process. And then finally, and this is just my personal opinion, I have a lot of respect for the city charter, as I'm sure many of you all do as well. I feel like it's a very important document, and a document that important, I think a formal process is warranted. So when we provide you all with these deliverables, what does the maturity look like? Well, these changes have all been discussed at length. That's the beauty of having a charter review committee. We have the bandwidth and the ability to really deep dive into a really kind of a microscope or a microscopic level into each one of these things, whereas you all are limited. I mean, there's 20-something items on the agenda tonight. So that's kind of the level at which we're discussing this stuff at an extremely granular level. When we do provide you all with a proposed change, we have all voted. The committee has voted on those proposals. So it's not like this is Corey Langford's idea and just one person is sending it to you. The entire committee has voted on these proposals. It may or may not be the final answer, depending on what your guys' actions are, and we'll go through that here in just a moment. And finally, if you all want something different from us, let us know. We're more than happy to receive feedback from you all. It does us no good to provide you all with something if it's not useful to you all. So the timeline, it's a phased approach based on the election opportunities. I know that's been a discussion in previous meetings. You all provided us with a kind of a no later than date of 1 May for our initial submission to you all, for you all to go through that and determine what action that you're going to take. We looked at that and said, well, we've got some things that are finalized right now. Do we hold on to these things and just drop them on the commission on 1 May and only give them a short amount of time to, discuss and decide which way they want to go? Or, do we start incrementally providing you all with these proposals so that you can decipher, you all can decide what you want to do in a little bit more time-friendly situation. Subsequent deliverable deadline dates, those are helpful. We appreciate the fact that you all said, hey, 1 May, get us what you need by 1 May. You all have the election calendar from Miss Nina Ward, so just look at that for those opportunities and kind of push those dates to us, and we'll be happy to meet those deadlines. The more complex the issue, the further we're going to try to submit that to you all, in an earlier rather than later. And you're going to see that tonight. There are some complex issues that we're looking at. Our goal is to provide you all with time to make a methodical decision, based on your constituent feedback versus, a premature decision because you have a lack of time. So what are your options with these deliverables when we bring them to you? Number one, you can submit as written for voter approval. Man, that's awesome. We did a good job, right? But we understand that's not necessarily going to be the case. You all can amend it and place it on the ballot. Or you could return it to us with comments. Hey, did you think about this? We're going to kick this back to you all. We want you to focus on the implementation of this or this, that, whatever, right? We could have a joint workshop where the commission and the charter review committee can sit down and really kind of dive into this a little bit deeper. Or finally, you can just take no action. You can wad it up and throw it in the trash can. Those are your options as far as we've seen it so far. So with that, I'll pause. Does anyone have any questions as far as the committee and what we're doing and the deliverables? Right. So moving on, I know there's a long agenda, so I'm going to try to keep this brief, but there will be a time for questions for any of these. But if you have questions in the middle of that, please let me know and we'll stop and address it. So proposal number one, it's kind of large. It includes sections 21, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 32. So a lot of those sections are kind of administrative in nature, but we'll start with section 21. Section 21 really identifies and separates officers and department heads. So it's kind of saying, hey, the officers, the commission hires, and the officers report to the commission. Department heads, obviously the city manager hires those. However, the commission would confirm those individuals, and those individuals are listed there. Obviously, that's not an all-inclusive list, but that's what the committee has decided, that at a minimum, these are your department heads that's required. You can choose to add more department heads to that. You would just establish that by ordinance. But as a minimum, these are the individuals that we say that's required for the city of Lynn Haven. Finally, that section it identifies the requirement for a formal vote to confirm a department head that's hired by the city manager. This was kind of a discussion before. We looked at it. Some people read the charter one way. Other people read it another way. We said, hey, let's take all the perception away from it. Let's come out and say what it is that we need to say. And we're saying that a formal vote should be required in order to confirm a department head. In the absence of a city manager, the mayor shall appoint department heads. It still requires a majority vote, though. So that was section 21. Moving on to 26 and 27. This identifies the city manager and the attorney as a whistleblower complaint recipient. We felt like that, with the whistleblowers, we wanted to give the city employees the maximum amount of people that they could go to whistleblow. That included the city attorney. So that was identified in 26 and 27. 28, so this kind of gets into the administrative portion there, and I'm just going to refer to my notes here because I was kind of confused. Thank you, Miss Amy, if you're listening, for getting me straight on that. So section 28 was already in the charter, But it now just outlines the qualifications of the city attorney. That moved from Section 29 up to Section 28. Section 28 was just reserved, was the qualifications before. So it's just kind of some administrative moving around in paragraph. Nothing verbiage changed to the qualifications for the city attorney. It just simply moved paragraphs to free up Section 29. Section 29 is the position of the city clerk. This is where it identifies the position of the city clerk. It works at the pleasure of the commission. A lot of this is going to sound a lot like it does for the city manager because it pretty much is. This commission will determine the compensation. We started briefly addressing the roles and responsibilities of a city clerk, but we did not want to handcuff the commission on what those roles and responsibilities were. So we just kind of hit it wave top level and said other duties as identified by the commission. So you all have a wide range of ability to identify what those are. Section 32, this is the final one, and proposal number 1 identifies the position of the city clerk would be the signatory of the election board canvassing results. So the ballot language, I'm not going to read this to you all, but it's there. It is captured. It was captured in 3 separate questions because this is kind of a large amount of areas within the charter. There are 3 questions, so I'll just kind of pause if anyone just wants to, from the audience or anyone watching online wants to read through that. Question 2 and 3 are a little bit shorter. So 2 is basically talking about the whistleblower complaints, and 3 identifies who the department heads and the confirmation of majority vote. Again, there's your options that you can do with proposal 1. We are not looking for a decision tonight on either of these 2 issues. We wanted to get this before you all so you guys can start digesting this, figure out, discuss with your constituents or whomever as to which way we need to go with this. Are there any questions on proposal number 1?
Any questions among the commission? City manager, city attorney, any questions from y'all?
Okay, number 2, non-ad valorem assessment. This is the one that's probably a little bit more complex, and this is why we wanted to get this to you all sooner rather than later. This is all captured in Section 6. Basically, Section 6 is broken up into 3 paragraphs. Paragraph A, there was nothing that changed within Paragraph A. That identifies the powers vested in the commission. We didn't make any changes to that. We simply put an A beside it because we now have a Paragraph B and C. So really, that's what we'll focus more on tonight is Paragraph B and C. Sorry. There we go. So Section B, 6B, these are going to be a mentality shift. So we're asking for the voters to approve a non-ad valorem assessment. It would be a 50+1 vote to have a non-ad valorem assessment. So on that ballot, if the voters were to vote on a non-ad valorem assessment, the city would be required to provide these 7 items to the voter to explain this is the defined start date and end date of the project that we're wanting to fund. Here's the methodology in which we're wanting to assess you. Here's how much it's going to cost you on average per property within the city of Lynn Haven. Here's how much the total project cost is. Here's how much we're going to spend on it annually, and here's how much it's going to be overall. Here's how we're going to use the funds. And some of this stuff is already out there, right? It's already stated, but you now have a consolidated list of some things that are already required, but we're adding some things to that. A limit on annual increases, specific compliance and oversight requirements. All of those would be provided to the voter when they go to the ballot box to make a determination as to whether or not they wanted to fund a project or a program, for this matter, to the city. So continuation of 6B, this would last for 4 years. If the voters approve this at the ballot box, the city's good for 4 years. Now, there's still a state requirement that the commission renew this annually. Okay, What we're saying is that if the voters approve this, you all have the ability for 4 years to approve this year after year. After that 4 years is up, if you want to continue doing it, you got to go back to the voter to ask for another 4-year term, essentially. If the voters do not approve a non-ad valorem assessment, the non-ad valorem assessment will expire at the conclusion of that authorized term. Limitations on annual increases, this is very simple. Right now in the Florida state statute, there's already rules associated with increases for a fire assessment. All we're doing is we're mirroring that. What that means is the statute says something essentially shall not exceed the average annual growth rate for Florida personal income over the previous 5 years. Basically, the Bureau, the Florida Economic Bureau, I might be butchering their name, but they track all of this data, right? They look at the average for 5 years, and if they say that the income growth over the last 5 years, the average is 7%, then you can increase the non-ad valorem assessment by 7%, and that is it. If you want to increase it more, you can do that. Guess what? You just got to go back and ask the voters. Moving on to section 6C, this is really going to kind of get into the implementation of the non-ad valorem assessment. They must be spent, obviously, per the ballot language. We're asking you to spend the money how you told us you were going to spend it. You can't divert, transfer, commingle any of these funds for different programs or projects or services that you didn't expressly tell the voters on the ballot. The city must separately account for each authorized assessment program and publicly provide annual expenditures. Look, you can have multiple non-ad valorem assessments if that's what the citizens want. You just have to account for each of them individually, and you have to tell the citizens how you spent their money every year. The commission must adopt and implement procedures to ensure compliance. If you do not ensure compliance, those funds will be given back to the voters in Lynn Haven. So again, tonight, here are your options for this proposal as well. However, the committee is requesting a joint workshop. And this is simply to answer your questions. We're not asking for a public workshop because we don't know what the answer is. We've figured out what needs to happen with this. We know that this is a major muscle movement from the way that we're currently doing business, and we want to help you all understand how we got to the point to where we are now. Sure, some things may come up in that joint workshop that we may need to reevaluate. And if that's the case, we will absolutely do so. And that's with any proposal, not just this one. I will say that with proposal number 1 and proposal number 2, like I said, there was a vote on both of these proposals. Both of these proposals passed the committee 5-0. Are there any questions on proposal 2 or anything we've discussed tonight?
No, I was just going to say thank you for you guys doing that. I know you guys have been putting in a lot of work with that, a lot of discussions, which is good. There's a lot of things I'd like to talk about, but we'd be here all night. So I agree. I would like a joint workshop so we can have some discussions and questions and concerns and things like that.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like this would warrant a workshop for sure, because we'd be here for a 6-hour commission meeting otherwise. And it'd be solely focused on this. So I agree. And yes, thank you to all of you that have been part of this. I know you put a lot of work into it, and it is appreciated. Thank you.
Clearly. Commissioner Perno?
I'd be more than willing to do a joint workshop. Just off the top of my head, though, your time periods for the a non-ad valorem assessment for 4 years, come back to the voters. That would we brought you all in a year early, charter review. So you really want to time it to 5 years, because charter review is supposed to meet every 5 years. So you don't want to consistently bring the charter review back every 4 years, unless that's what you want to do. Because you're going to bring it back to the voters, you say, after 4 years, but you got to have a charter review to do it. Because we're not going to just stick it out there on a ballot unless we have a citizen committee like we're doing, because that's how we called for this in the first place. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the discussion of the timing. I believe we have an election every 4 years in the city of Lynn Haven. So that was kind of the intent behind that, was aligning the ballot with the elections.
I tend to want to line it up with the charter review versus the election cycle.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Tender, do you have any questions for Chairman Langford?
I could hardly understand anything he said. So I will definitely, is this something, we're not voting on it, right? We're just having a discussion?
Correct. Yes, ma'am. And
Is that correct?
We're talking about doing a joint workshop between.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Dang it. Hello.
Can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. We're talking
Oh,
about
okay.
doing
I-
a joint workshop between the city commission and the charter review committee.
Okay, good. Okay. And when are we going to do that? Or you haven't decided that yet, right?
We're about to. So I
We're
complete.
about to?
Yes, ma'am. We're about to turn that over to the admin folks to get that on the calendar. We're all in agreement that needs to
Oh,
happen.
okay.
So,
Okay. Okay.
thank you, ma'am. So Chairman Langford,
Thank you.
I'll echo my colleagues, teammates up here. I really appreciate the work your 5-person team has put into this. And you're doing exactly what we asked you to do. You tackled the city clerk right up front. I don't think that could have been any more straightforward. You made that look easy, but I know it wasn't. But thank you for that. And I think the non-ad valorem piece, we absolutely need to get that right. And I look forward to doing a joint workshop with your team and seeing if we can't get all that ironed out.
Do we need to vote on that or just agree to do that?
I think you can just direct staff to schedule the workshop.
And Mayor, just for question for Mayor and Chairman Langford, do you want to have a designee from the commission go to the workshop, or do you want to do all 5 of you, all commission, all 5 workshop?
All 5.
Or all 5 committee?
All 5. That's
I'll send out an email, coordinate some dates, and we'll get something scheduled.
I'm sure it'll be a short workshop.
Thank you,
Thank
Chairman
you.
Langford. All right. So number 11 is done. Now we're back to the original number 11, now number 12, which is a quasi, judicial public hearing, discussion and possible approval of development order application 26-01, Exalt Rehab Facility, 2851 Highway 77. Good evening, ma'am.
Hold on. So, Mayor, this is a quasi-judicial hearing, and so that's basically the city commission is sitting like a court, so there's some minimal due process that's involved. Basically, you all's decision has to be based on competent, substantial evidence, and we have to disclose ex parte communications, which are communications that you all have had regarding this item with anybody outside of this hearing. And so to ensure we have proper evidence, I'd like to go ahead and swear in the witnesses. And so if anybody plans on providing any testimony on item number 12, please go ahead and stand and raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth upon penalty of perjury? Yes. Okay, thank you. And if the commission can disclose any ex parte communications that they've had about item number 12 now.
I've had none.
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 Okay, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Harold, if you could, thank you. Yes, this is a development order application for Exalt Rehab Facility. The owner applicant is Ryan Companies U.S. Incorporated. The location is 2851 Highway 77, parcel number 12859020000, and the property size is about 8.18 acres. And the future land use map designation is commercial. The existing use on the site, it is vacant. The project engineer, Jim Sanina, with PE with Panhandle Engineering, is present if you have any questions for him. The reviewing engineer was Richard Funtner, PE with Dewberry Engineer. He was unable to attend tonight, but they do have representation with DT Horton is present if you have questions for him. The traffic review engineer was Vincent Spar, PE with Kimley Horn. He is not present. A copy of the traffic study was included in your agenda packet for review. This is a request for a development order approval to construct a 39,300 square foot, 40-bed rehabilitation facility, along with the required landscaping, parking, and infrastructure improvements. The proposed development will result in a total trip generation of approximately 267 daily trips, 22 a.m. peak hour trips, and 22 p.m. peak hour trips with an ingress-egress on Highway 77 and East Baldwin Road. The site plans have been reviewed and have been found to be in compliance with the city's Unified Land Development Code, the ULDC, Highway 77 Corridor Overlay District, and Florida state requirements. And this is the aerial of the proposed site. The land use map indicating commercial, and the proposed site plan. So, then the renderings of the proposed facility.
Any questions from the commission?
Can you go back a slide or show me on the map where the stormwater is supposed to go? Is that off of Baldwin? Oh, keep going the other
on.
way.
Okay.
That one. Is that on the right-hand side where the stormwater is supposed to be?
I'll defer that to Mr. Slanina, Mr. Horton,
Okay, thanks.
on water.
Come on up, sir. Good evening.
And Mayor, I had a question.
Yes, ma'am. We've got the project engineer. Hang on, Judy. They're answering Commissioner Warwick's question, and then I'll ask you to ask yours, ma'am.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, ma'am.
This graphic is actually zoomed in too far. There's two, they show up better on those, but there's two large stormwater lakes along 77. So the entire frontage of the facility has lakes in front of it, so it's going to have a nice view of the architecture of it.
Okay.
And we discharge to DOT. So we have stormwater permits from Water Management, City, and DOT.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'll be glad to answer.
Commissioner Tender, would you like to ask your question, ma'am?
I just wanted to make sure that I understood. Is this going in the same place where the old Bay Med complex used to be, there on that corner?
Yes, it was a Winn-Dixie, and then it turned into an Ascension Healthplex, and then the same property. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from the commission? Okay. Next is we ask for witnesses, correct? Or
Yes, sir. If there are any other witnesses that want to present testimony before the commission.
are there any other witnesses here in the public that, in the general public, that would like to come forth and make a statement or present information in regards to this proposal? Hearing none. All right.
So it's not on the agenda, but I believe when it went to the planning board, it was passed unanimously, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Come on up, Ms. Parker. Good evening.
I have a question about this. Is this like a nursing home or a drug rehab, or what type of rehab facility is this? Do we know?
This is an acute inpatient facility that the residents will stay about 10 days, and it's for brain trauma, stroke, and spinal cord injuries, rehab.
So it's not long-term care? Okay.
Yeah, short-term.
Thank you for that clarification. All right. Any other questions or information presentation requirements?
Could I have one more question, please?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I guess I'm asking Jamie this question because he's the money guy. But how much will this increase our tax base?
No idea.
It'd definitely be more than what we get for vacant.
Sure.
So I don't know.
I'm not sure what the
Okay.
improvement value
All
would be
right.
of it to even calculate that one until it's built.
But I would say it'd be substantially more than a vacant lot would get.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, if there are no other information, presentations, or witnesses, I guess we can call the roll at this point.
So I'm gonna have a motion, right?
Motion, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve this development order.
Second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Any other general commentary regarding this proposal? Hearing none. City Manager, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you very much. Thank you all. All right, moving on to the original number 12, now 13, discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2026-03-526, Social Security Policy. And that's over to you, Mr. Jackson.
Mayor, the sponsorship was next, I think, as the agenda item.
Got moved.
It got moved? Okay, I'm sorry. So yes, do you want me to read that? Or do you?
So, well, it is the sponsorship policy, but it's item 13 now instead of item 12, just because we pushed everything down.
No, it was 11 was the quasi judicial, and then the next one was the resolution for Social Security Policy.
My agenda has sponsorship policy. I'm sorry. Yes. A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, adopting a policy regarding the collection and use of Social Security numbers.
My apologies. My hard copy doesn't match what's on the screen here. So these two were reversed.
Okay.
So
It was added later into the agenda.
my
What
apologies for the confusion. So they're right here. I'm sorry, we're going to switch those two around inadvertently. So Social Security Policy, let's close that one out, and then we'll go back to the sponsorship.
Yes, sir. And just circling back on this, this actually surfaced a month or two back. Ms. Myers was going through some things, noticed our social security policy needed to be updated. This is the resolution and updated policy for that.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, it basically just follows Florida law on these issues.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any public commentary or questions regarding this? Ms. McElroy.
Tallahassee and Port St. Joe. I just want to make sure I understand what you're trying to accomplish. And if it's what I think it is, I think it's a great idea. Is this to make sure that documents don't go out with people's social security numbers on them? For example, like an interview, that you don't walk out the door with someone's social security.
Mirroring state law on this.
All right. Thank you. I think that's really key, and thank you for covering that.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions or commentary? Hearing none, if the city manager will call the roll.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. So we're 5-0 there. All right. Again, apologies for the disconnect there. Our agenda got updated. We're back to discussion and possible approval of resolution for the sponsorship policy.
Sponsorship policy first. So, Mayor, you all received the sponsorship policy today from Amy. Commissioner Peebles had brought it up a couple meetings ago. It is not numbered because we likely do not anticipate you all approving this tonight. I'll read it by title only and then go through and ask Mr. Jackson any questions on that. A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, adopting a fundraising policy, incorporating recitals, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay.
And Mayor, I know y'all just got this today, but basically, it provides more formality to the sponsorship. When the city requests a sponsorship, it provides more formality. So there's not just soliciting one particular vendor, but you put out a request for proposals typically, and it provides some guardrails around the messages that will be approved by the city as far as sponsorships. This is for any kind of city function.
I looked through it when we got it earlier this afternoon, and it looks very clear, direct, and straightforward. So I don't have any issues or concerns. Does any other member of the commission have any questions?
The one question I had was about endorsement of sponsor. Can we make it a requirement if they make any materials like flyers or brochures or anything like that, that it says on there, this is not an endorsement by the city of Lynn Haven or something like that? Or does that already say that in here?
As far as sponsorship materials,
Right.
we could add that, I believe. Yes.
Right. What do you guys think? I think it'd be a good idea to add that.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then one thing I'd add is I looked at it today and I emailed Amy back and, of course, thanked her for putting this together, but said that I wanted to look at digging into the I guess you would call it like the naming of fields or whatever you want to call it, like exclusive naming rights. I want to dig into that a little bit deeper and make it a little bit more specific. So if you all want to look at that too and help me iron that out, that'd be great. If you could give your feedback on that. I think there's a tool we can use to help with that, to just make it easier for everyone involved, whether that's the city or the sponsor.
Okay. Any other questions or comments among the commission?
So I've got those comments, Mayor, and if you all could take a look at it, and I think we're going to bring this back for the next meeting for a final approval. So just if you have more time, take a look at it, send it to us or Chris, and we've got the ones you mentioned here.
Yes, sir. So initial review only at this point.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. Make sure we're next. Harold, could you scroll on down? Thank you. I'll make sure. Yep. The agenda picks back up as normal with what was item number 14, now 15. Discussion and approval of resolution 2026-03-527, approving the 10th Street change order with ESSC LLC.
A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving a change order to the city's agreement with ECSC LLC relating to the city's 10th Street Utility Improvement Project in the amount of $826,172.93.
Mr. Baker.
Right. The city is currently under a CDBG grant where it's a $4.4 million grant for infrastructure improvements. Although it's called 10th Street, it goes from 8th Street to 17th Street and portions of Ohio to Carolina Avenue. So it's a rather large area. Up to this date, we've had numerous change orders, some credit, some debit, but the grant covered it. What we've run into is a section of sewer line we thought we could repair, has to be replaced. The largest portion of this is for the road repair. Once they got into all the final testing and mixing of the roads will not meet compaction based on the design they had. So to improve the roads, we're going to have to add a lime rock base. There was a total of 2.7 miles of road in the project, and 1.2 of those miles got to have this base material put in order to meet FDOT certifications, because it is federal money. So what we're proposing is, we had 3 projects in the surtax budget. We're proposing, which was a asphalt preservation project, Pennsylvania Avenue improvements, and Sheffield parking. What we're proposing is to postpone those projects for now and use that money for this change order to complete the job. Our grant writers are working with Department of Commerce trying to get additional funding for this project. And they will not hold that against us. If we go ahead and do it and pay for it, they find the money, they still will reimburse us for it. So that's our request, just to postpone those 3 projects already programmed so it doesn't add to the budget.
Okay, so just to circle back. So basically you're delaying those 3 projects so you can pay for it now so that you can go ahead and get that money reimbursed.
We hope to. They're working hard with Department of Commerce to try to get the funding back.
All right.
There is no guarantee that we will get it back, but we will work with Department of Commerce to submit for it and hopefully get it back. It does look promising, but there are no guarantees.
Right. And they've already been sent all this information on the change order, so they are reviewing it and working on it.
And this answers a lot of the public questions on why 12th Street hasn't been paved back yet. A lot of the issues there are a result of this change order.
So how long do we think this is going to take to complete?
If approved and executed, they will get right to work on it.
Yeah, they'll get started right away on it. They just wouldn't do it without approval.
Right. From start to completion, how long do you think it'll take?
Unless it's changed, they anticipate being completed by the end of April, beginning of May.
I know we've been getting contacted a lot about it, so.
Yes. Oh, I've had to do a lot of explaining to the residents.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
And then worst case, if we don't get the additional grant funding from the Department of Commerce, we would reprogram and rebudget for the delayed projects and just go ahead and get this done as the closest gator to the boat and the most immediate need.
Yes, otherwise we would cover it with the surtax, which there is funding in the surtax right now to cover it, but instead of amending the budget, we could just, move the line items around without adding to it and keep the project going as quickly as possible.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission?
All I would ask is that, I don't know if you all received the email today from someone that lives on 10th Street, to potentially talk to the management.
Yes, sir.
deal with that issue.
I met with that family Friday evening, and we will be addressing all of their concerns with their driveway and the restoration of their yards. Got it handled.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Well, if there's no...
Question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I just heard what Chris said, and as far as the one family, I don't know how many of those folks are in the audience tonight for public commentary, but do we have, Chris, the solution to getting this done? Do we have a solution to getting it done quickly?
Yes, ma'am.
Because let me just say this. Let me say this. The last time I was there, the day before I left, they were pumping water off of 10th Street over to 9th by the school. And over there, they were doing the same thing that they're doing on 10th. And I've already had a complaint about that as well. But these people were told that on December 9th of last year, this project would be done before Christmas. And we have paid these people hundreds of thousands of dollars since Christmas. We need to get some end to this somehow. And have they given you any assurance about when it will be done?
So they are working every day. The pump that you're talking about is dewatering. They're drying the ground out for the rest of the underground work. The majority of the underground, the water, the sewer, and the stormwater is completed. Still a lot of roadway paving and restoration to do. But they are making great progress on the project for what it is. It is water, sewer, stormwater, and road, so it's not an easy one. But they have made some great progress. I know it's growing pains and very frustrating for the residents around there, but it will be over very soon.
Okay. Do you still stick with your estimate of the end of April?
Yes, ma'am. That is the last time we talked. That was the end of April, beginning of May is the time frame they were telling us.
Okay. All right. I also called a few folks over there at ECFC, and nobody ever called me back. So I hope you're getting better results from them than I did. I just want to see it over and done. We're losing people out of Lynn Haven, moving to different cities because of this nightmare. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it.
Yes, ma'am. When the project is complete, the water mains will be upgraded with fire protection or improved fire protection, improved water main or water pressure. The sewer system will be lined in multiple places to help with the I&I at the wastewater treatment plant, as well as new stormwater system there, especially on 10th Street, to help eliminate flooding, as well as roads that have not been paved in years.
Yeah, roads that haven't been worked on
Okay,
in
thank
30
you.
years. So
Long overdue and
overdue.
gotcha. All right. Any other questions or comments among the commission? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any general commentary, questions regarding this proposal? Ms. McElroy. Good evening.
Roy, I handed you all a packet. Emerald Coast Site Construction, LLC. You'll see their SunBiz account. It was 7/22/20. Then they folded. They dissolved in 24. Your contract, I believe, began around that time. Yet your new LLC that is the same address under Jason Bentz, that didn't begin until 2/3/26. So I guess I'm a little confused. You started this contract, I think you had a contract, kind of looked it up in the minutes, and you have a lapse of this organization being in business. I went, and I wanted to make sure that I was pretty correct about this. So I went on the webpage and I'd called the finance folks and asked for the actual address, not a post office address, but an actual address. And I understand that y'all wire funds to these people. My understanding is allegedly one of the project managers is Adam Albritton. So what I'm going to ask for tonight through a public records request is their actual contract, because this doesn't make any sense. Same name, same corporation. I went through a lot of names to try to make sure that I could be as correct as humanly possible. But I think seeing the contract is also going to help, because there's a gap in ownership. And I believe it was during the time that you were negotiating the contract. So you all have a copy of this, including the attorney. And I just gave one to finance. So I'm going to be looking for that contract. That's my public records request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or general commentary regarding this proposal? Hearing none, if the city manager will call the roll.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
No,
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. The ayes have it 4-1. We are now down to new item 15, old item 14. Discussion and approval of resolution 2026-03-529, approving the Minnesota Sidewalk Contract Amendment.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the First Amendment to the city's agreement with BCL Civil Contractors Incorporated for the Minnesota Avenue Sidewalk Construction Project. And Mayor, this project is completed. All this is doing is during an audit of Department of Commerce for the CDBG grant, it was discovered that the record retention language and the contract said 3 years, and it should have said 6 years. So we will be bringing back all of our CDB projects for a contract amendment Even though this project is closed out just for auditing purposes, Department of Commerce asked us to change that from 3 years to 6 years.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you, ma'am. I have a motion in 2 seconds. Is there any general commentary or questions regarding this item? Hearing none, if the city manager will call the roll.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles? I'm sorry, Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Lowry?
Yes. 5-0. Thank you for that. On to the next one. Discussion and possible approval of resolution 2026-03-530, public records and retention and disposition policy.
A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, outlining the city's record retention and disposition policy, repealing all policies or resolutions in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. Mayor, this language is basically just mirroring Florida state statutes on public records retention, but we need a policy in place for a lot of our grants requirements and audits. So we recently updated the public record policy and just updating the retention policy to go along with it.
Copy that. Any questions or comments among the commission?
No. Motion to approve.
Yes, Mayor.
Second.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Commissioner Tender.
I just wanted to ask Chris if the retention part of this, has it lengthened or does it stay the same?
It mirrors
The
Florida.
retention of
It mirrors Florida state statutes, so it's varies by category, but whatever the Florida state statutes is, and Chapter 119, Section 257.36, that is exactly what our policy will follow.
Okay. So is it lengthening it or shortening it?
Neither. It's whatever the policy states is the requirement for a record is what the city will follow.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions or concerns? If not, we had a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any general public commentary regarding this specific proposal? Hearing none, would the city manager call the roll?
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Lowry?
Yes, ayes have it. Thank you. 16 are now 17. Discuss and approve the RFQ document and job description for the city attorney.
Yes, sir. So based on discussions with the commission, Mr. Bracy, our procurement manager, has put together an RFP, sent it to you all. You all have reviewed and provided comments. He's incorporated all of your comments back into that. Mr. Holton also approved or put together a job description for a part-time and full-time in-house counsel. You all have read those descriptions and incorporated any changes you all had into that. And we're just looking for guidance from the commission to either approve these and authorize staff to advertise, or if you all would like to discuss further.
Okay. Among the commission, any questions, discussions, or proposed way ahead from here?
You guys, I mean, you were kind of the spearheading the in-house, and Commissioner Warwick kind of was spearheading the going out to RFQ. So I really want to lean on both of you on this. So how do you all feel?
Sure. Would you like to go first, sir?
I mean, I just went through it, and I mean, there's pretty much in the agenda what I changed or my recommendations was, and just from past experience, just what I wanted to modify.
And you're cool what's in the packet here?
Yeah, the only question I had was there are some dates in here. I think they got to be changed. Is
Yes,
that
sir. The
right?
dates are highlighted. They just
got to be changed.
Yes, or they're just placeholders.
And as far as I go, I want to cast the broadest nets possible. We'll look at not only a law firm contract, but also the potential of a full-time in-house attorney as well as a part-time in-house attorney. See what talents judicial-wise or JD-wise is out there and interested in supporting the city. And then we'll come back together as a commission and as a team and look at them and go from there. My thoughts are for us to go ahead and approve the proposals as drafted. Commissioner Warwick's inputs were very good and straightforward. Let's see what we get back.
And Mayor, I would ask, unless Mr. Jackson objects in the motion, to include start advertisement date and the length of time for each.
And what, I guess, well, we'll have our HR here tonight. Ms. Hodges, what do you recommend in terms of advertisement length dates?
So don't have open positions for this. So in this approval, you'll be approving the addition of either a FTE or a half-time FTE, or potentially more. It's a little bit harder from the advertisement position. Position description is one thing. There's more things that's wrapped up with that before we can actually go out and solicit and be able to respond to applications, such as what is your salary range? Are you expecting a position to support that position, et cetera? So I can throw a net out there to gather interest, but this commission will have to make some future decisions if it's to be an in-house counsel.
Understood. So just for the advertisement period, would you recommend 3 weeks, 30 days?
At least 3 weeks.
Say we could go with 30 days
Sure. I'm good with that.
for both.
Yes, for all portions.
Is there a certain day you would like it started, or?
Yesterday.
Gotcha.
I can do it tomorrow, not yesterday.
You don't have a DeLorean?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, as soon as you can, I guess. I mean, I don't have a specific day unless you guys do.
As soon as possible for 30 days, would that be acceptable? With y'all? Yeah? All right. Well, that's my recommendation going forward. Any other comments or thoughts?
No.
No? Hearing none. Can I get a motion then?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Do we have any general public commentary regarding this specific proposal tonight?
Hey, Commissioner, you back?
Sorry, I disconnected by accident.
All good.
Worries. So, Commissioner Tender, we had a motion and a second. We had no public commentary regarding this item. About to ask the city manager to call the roll. So, Mr. Lightfoot?
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
No.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Lowry?
Yes. 4-1. All right, next, discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2026-03-531, approving the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk construction contract with BCL Civil Contractors.
Yes, sir. This is a amendment to an existing contract that you approved in January. FDOT, after review of the contract, they wanted 2 additional forms added to the contract. Because it's federal money, these are federal forms that they wanted put in there. And that's all this is amending the existing contract with these 2 forms. One of the forms is the required contract provisions on federal aid construction contracts. The other one is the wage rate table related to Davis-Bacon Act.
Any questions or concerns among the commission?
Mayor, I'm going to read this resolution real quick. A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving an amendment to the city's construction agreement with BCL Civil Contractors Incorporated related to the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk project.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I will eventually get that. I keep wanting to ask for inputs before you read. Now, any questions or comments among the commission?
Only question I have is the next agenda item. That's going to be paid for by grant also, right?
Yes, or the construction and CEI will all be, we will pay upfront, of course, and then get reimbursed.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I I have a motion and a second. Do we have any general questions or commentary from the audience on this particular issue? Ms. McElroy.
Christy McElroy, it's just a question. So these initials, that when you look up this other company, this Emerald Coast, thank you, Emerald Coast Site Construction, you can't find it under the initials. So I think it'd be most helpful if people could tell the general public who BCL, what that stands for, and what CEI, what that name stands for, just in case the public ever wants to look those things up.
So, Mayor, BCL is the name of the company. It's not like other companies that is an abbreviation. That is the name of it. They've been in business over 30 years. But BCL Incorporated is the name. It doesn't stand for anything. That is the initials of their kids, actually.
Okay.
And then CEI is Construction, Engineering, and Inspection.
Okay, so if I would looked up on Sunbiz, BCL,
Yes.
you're sure it's going to pop up?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
We already do. Just got to vote.
Oh, duh. I'm sorry. I had a brain for it. All right. Will the city manager call the roll?
Commissioner Wark,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Is this number 19?
no, ma'am. This is the new number 19. Yes, ma'am. The amended contract with BCL Construction.
Oh, yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes.
Yes. So 5-0. Thank you for that. Now we're on to the new 19, the old 19, I guess it would be the new 20. Discussion and possible approval of resolution 2026-03-532, approving the Tennessee Sidewalk CEI services agreement with Panhandle Engineering. And you said the CEI stood for one more time?
Construction, Engineering, and Inspection.
Okay. Thank you for that.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with Panhandle Engineering related to the provision of construction, engineering, and inspection services to the city for the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk project.
Mr. Baker.
Yes, it's exactly what he said. It is for the construction, engineering, and inspection for the Tennessee Avenue. We did send out RFQs. We had multiple engineering firms submit. They were graded. They were reviewed by DOT, and Panhandle came in as the number one choice and was even recommended by FDOT. So this is going to oversee the actual construction of the Tennessee sidewalk, and it's fully funded by the grant.
Okay. Thank you for that. Well, with that, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any general commentary or questions for this specific proposal? Hearing none, city manager call the roll.
Commissioner Wark,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
No.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. 4-1. Okay. We're down to discussion and possible approval of resolution 2026-03-533, concrete crushing services. City manager.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with Gulf Coast Utility Contractors, LLC, relating to the provision of concrete crushing services in an amount not to exceed $45,000. Mayor, so we talked about this actually at last Friday's strategic meeting, as well as one several months back. So the city, we stockpile concrete where we demo sidewalks, driveways, for culvert repair, water main repair, any type of concrete that we remove. Typically, we would have to haul that off at our expense, and a company would crush it, and they would turn around and sell the base. So talking with staff, we decided to see if we could get some bids out this fiscal year, to have a crushing service done on site, and we would crush the concrete we have, and we would utilize that for road base. So bids were received, and we received bids at $17.50 a ton. And we have a not to exceed amount of $45,000 because that is what we budgeted in the street department this year for that. It's for a 3-year term, and we will, if this works out, we will ask to put another $45,000 or $50,000 in the budget for fiscal year 27, and then approve another resolution to do the same thing.
So from my understanding, before, we used to have to pay to remove that. Now, we don't have to pay for it to get removed. We're just
Yes,
pay
sir.
to
So
crush it. And not only that, use that material that we would normally have to pay a second time.
yes, sir.
do
So
that.
we had to pay an employee to load a dump truck, drive it off to the site. They would allow you to dump the concrete for free if we took it to a crusher, or we would be charged tipping fees if we took it to the landfill. But if we took it to a crusher for free, they would crush it and then turn around and sell the concrete base for road base. So this way, we're going to crush it on site and see if we can save some money and stockpile some road base.
Who came up with that idea?
It was discussion between staff.
Awesome. Well, Tom, thank you.
So moving forward, just a side note, the Air Force has a great thing called the IDEA program. And when you come up with a way to save money and make things more efficient, this is effectively smarter recycling. There's formal ways they can submit that and get recognized for that. Some type of performance award or presentation of a coin, a day off, or something. Do we have anything like that currently in the city? by
No,
chance?
sir. That was in one of the executive slides from Friday, is to implement something along the IDEAS program, whether it was, a percentage of what was saved, or like you said, a day off or some type of bonus. But that is something we want to look at doing in the next year or so, of implementing something like this or like that.
This would be a great first guinea pig to consider that for. Whoever came up with that, kudos. Any other questions regarding this?
No.
If not, can I get
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Ten.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any general publicitary comments or questions regarding this proposal? Hearing none, city manager, call the roll.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Wark,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. All right. We are down to the old 21, now I guess 22. Discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2026-03-534. Requisition for pump repairs in the amount of $44,181 to Jim House and Associates. City manager.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with Jim House and Associates relating to sewage pump repairs in an amount of $44,181. Mayor, this is for some repairs we're needing done at our lift stations, number 79, number 21, as well as decamp pump number 1 for our wastewater treatment facility, and filter pump number 3. Jim House and Associates is a sole source provider for flight pumps. So we advertise it on our website for that. And once approved, the city will have our pumps repaired and put back in service.
Thank you for that. Any questions or comments among the
I
commission?
make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
All right. There we go. So I have a motion and a second. Do I have any questions or comments among the general public here regarding this specific proposal? Hearing none, would the city manager call the roll?
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Wark,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry.
Yes. All right. Thank you all for that. Now we're at public commentary. We have one person signed up for public commentary tonight, and that's Miss Christy McElroy. Good evening again.
Just quick question. As you well know, the city of Lynn Haven finally got your certificate of occupancy on 8/14/2025. Before that, you'd had the leaks. And my understanding was it was the fire sprinkler system. Regardless of that, I would like to see any insurance claims, payments concerning that, because before that, of course, you had a temporary CO. I'm going to stop there for tonight, and I'll pick it up on the next one meeting concerning sort of an umbrella around that. But the last item that I wanted to just ask the question, you pulled up all that asphalt. So I'm wondering what happened to the millings when they pulled it all up. I mean, is that going to be recycled just like concrete? Where did it go?
You asked about the millings?
The millings. So millings, Mayor, is the asphalt that you pull up. And that is also valuable material that you can, and you probably already know this, but for the general public, in Gulf County, we talk about millings and the value of those millings. So considering how many roads you pulled up, I'm just wondering what happened with all that asphalt.
Speak to that, sir.
Yes, sir. So in some of our contracts, we provide language in there where they have to transport the milling to our yard, where we utilize that back for public works projects. This one, we did not have that, so it was sent to the asphalt plant to be recycled and used to make asphalt.
Okay, so you're going to reuse it, or is the company that pulled it up going to reuse
The company took it off. We did not put the language in this contract to stockpile the milling.
I think y'all need to revisit that. That's a great value to that company. That many roads? Come on now.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public commentary tonight? Hearing none, we will move into the mayor and commissioners' reports. It's been 2 months as of the 20th since I swore in, and I got to tell you, these 2 months have flown by in a blur. Some days it seems like 2 days, and sometimes it seems like 2 years, right? But this has been a great learning opportunity. I am very grateful to my fellow 4 commissioners and teammates for the opportunity to serve alongside of them, and very, very proud to serve as your 33rd mayor. We've been incredibly busy the last couple of weeks. We're already in the throes of budget. We just recently hired a new city manager. We've got a new police chief on board who's absolutely amazing. Things are heading in a very positive and good direction for our city. And I'm proud to be a very small part of that, along with my teammates here, and very proud to be supporting this great city and our community. That's all I have tonight. We'll start with Commissioner Perno on my left, and we'll just go straight down and wrap up with our caboose tonight, Commissioner Tender. So, Commissioner Perno.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much to report. I just want y'all to know it was a very busy week last week. Monday we had the special meeting. Tuesday was St. Patrick's Day. And then Friday we had the workshop, strategic planning. And Saturday we had the town hall meeting, which was absolutely excellent. And that was just 1 week. I appreciate everybody who gave their time to all of those efforts, and everybody who's here tonight. It was absolutely a great experience Friday to hear from all the department heads. I know it was kind of presented as their wish list for the budget, but just their free thinking, their awareness of everything, and honestly, some of the lightheartedness amongst everybody, it was a good feeling from other strategic meetings that we've had. I think it was, and that's a kind of a credit to y'all and where the city's at right now. So, and I'd like to assure all the citizens that I think things are in a good place, really. And with that being said, and a big thank you to our military and our first responders and all of our city employees. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Peebles.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, yes, it was a very busy week. Like Commissioner Perno said, but it was very productive. It was busy in a good way. It was a lot of fun getting to hear from the department heads and staff on their wish list, doing the town hall, getting to hear it. We saw some people we've never seen before at the town hall, so that was fun. Not that we don't appreciate all of you, we do. But I'm just saying it's cool to see most of you were there as well as some that we haven't seen before. So that was very cool. And we had a very busy week. We had stuff going on in the background too, in terms of reviewing a bunch of documents before we came to these meetings. So just wanted to put that out there. But it's been a great week and looking forward to the future. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ward.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much said everything I would have said. We've been very busy. I think we're going to be busy in the future because there's a lot of things we're trying to keep moving. So I appreciate the staff and everything they've been doing so that we can keep doing what we need to do. The town hall, yeah, it went excellent. I felt really good about it. I wasn't sure how many people would show up, but there was actually quite a few people that showed up. The atmosphere was very positive. There was concerns that were brought up. They felt like their questions were answered, and we even left feedback sheets, and we got those back. And the feedback sheets came back with some really positive feedback from it, and they really enjoyed it. And that was one of the questions they asked is, would you come back? And I think just about every person said, yep, they come back. And I hope more people come out. The next one's going to be on 25 April. Be 9 to 11 here in the chambers. So invite any residents to come out. Be happy to hear from you and talk with you. And I felt like when people left, I felt like they left in good spirits. And things came out, which was good. The only thing I have is I talked to the city manager a little bit about this and asked him to put it on the next meeting. But I just wanted to kind of just mention it just so we can all kind of chew on it, is advisory boards and committees. Right now, the way it's written, you're limited to just one. What do you think about if someone wants to do more than one? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I don't know. But I'd like to just have a little bit of discussion on it.
I'd love to chew on that.
Yes.
Yeah. That sounds yummy. I don't particularly the amount of people that have the awareness that want to volunteer and be on the boards and stuff is not a true representation of the population. I wish we can get more people outside to come in with their backgrounds and their wants. And I'd like to go back to the consent agenda and thank Mr. Griffin, right, and the other gentlemen who were volunteering to be on board. So I haven't seen them before. So
right.
It would be. I honestly believe if someone's sincere and wants to serve on multiple boards, and they have the background and awareness, and we don't have anyone else, I'm all for them being on multiple boards.
And there's some things we need to discuss. For instance, you can't be on Board of Adjustment and Planning Board.
Right. I don't think you should be, I think one board should trump the other as far as the importance thereof. But honestly, we got some people who put their hearts into a lot of different stuff, and I am down, Jamie. I think your feelings are such that you would want someone to be on two different boards, correct? The right person, the right situation.
I'm kind of neutral right now. I'm me. Usually I'm in research mode. So.
Well, I think if we approve it and talk about it, I mean, I don't know if we want to make it case by case, but I don't know if we want to make it, but there's warrant in that. I think there's people that want to give more to the city that it would be a good thing.
Right. But me, when I come back, I'll formulate.
Well, you formulate it however you want, but that's my opinion. Is that there is a minority of people that care a lot. That may not want to be a commissioner, but they want to serve, and they do a great job. And anybody outside, I mean, my ultimate feeling is that, hey, we need to encourage everyone around the city to find that diamond in the rough, that guy who was an engineer, who's retired or whatever, who wants to come in, to get their experience, and get a little bit of their knowledge to come and help us. So I'd like it to be outside, like somebody who's had the experience who can serve on a board. But there's people that are already doing it that could probably do a second board that are good at it, and we always see them. You know what I mean? And I think one of them was bald headed and bearded that was here earlier. Corey's a good guy. You know what I mean? As an example, not as not that it's him or anything.
No.
But those type of people, we're always seeing them. And it's a good thing. So
Go ahead and chew on it.
Chewing more.
All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Commissioner Peebles, do you have any thoughts on the two board while we're on that?
Oh, yeah, sure. I would say right off the bat, I think it's a good idea. I would like to, if I'm reviewing, I'd probably maybe, unless it's just like someone that's just an extremely strong candidate, I would like to give the priority to someone that's not serving on the board, because I want to encourage more people to get involved. However, that I don't think that it should be a strict only one board. But that, this is the first time talking about it, so that's just first thoughts in my head.
And for the record, I tend to agree with Commissioners Perno and Peebles. I think it's a great idea. You might have situations where you might have two different boards where they might conflict because they're decision making, and so you'd have to do one or the other. But short of that, if we don't have enough volunteers to go around and we have somebody willing to share double love with us in terms of love time, God bless them. And with that, and also real quick before Commissioner Tender speaks, I just want to publicly thank Commissioner Warwick for recommending the town hall. I really didn't think it was going to go that well. Just initial first blush thoughts. I'm like, people are going to give up their Saturday mornings to come stare at us and talk to us. But we had about 30 folks in total here. It was incredibly collaborative. You just really had to be here, and about half of y'all were. It was very, very positive. It was very heartwarming. It was very collegial, respectful, even with differences of opinions. Everyone got a chance to speak. In fact, multiple folks spoke multiple times. And there were things across the board spoken, from cybersecurity to protecting dolphins to children being able to plan their yard without being considered unaccompanied to city business. I mean, it was a full range of things. And I think everybody walked away with a little bit of a community warm fuzzy there. It was a really, really good trial run. So thank you to those of you that participated for being here and giving us that feedback. And Commissioner Warwick, thank you sincerely for recommending that. Regardless of anything else, it is a great community forum opportunity to give citizens an opportunity to come speak and engage in a less formal, less rigid venue, if you will. So with that, Commissioner Tender, you have a report for us tonight, ma'am.
Well, a mini report. I want to thank all of the commission for approving my absence. Much needed vacation, so I really appreciate it. And I think that we're making progress. I think we're heading in the right direction. And sometimes when you get so wound up in everything, you lose sight of that. And so my sight is regained. I have 10% left on my phone, so I'm going to use that in the casino. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Make sure you bring us back a souvenir.
Travel safe, ma'am, and enjoy.
Yeah, well, thank you. Y'all behave.
Good night, ma'am.
Good one.
All right.
Bye.
So next we have our city manager's report.
Yes, sir. So it's been a very, very busy first official week. We had the tree giveaway Saturday. Shout out to Ty Ferris and his team, Winford Alexander and Brian Vascoy. If you didn't get a chance to get by there, I pulled in at 8:03 and there was already just a line of vehicles leaving. It was unbelievable how fast those trees go. So shout out to those guys for getting out there Saturday morning and getting those. The town hall, as you all talked about, I feel that was a great turnout. Our strategic meeting went very well. Felt that staff was able to talk to the commission and get, the plans for fiscal year 27 out, as well as, the next 3 to 5 fiscal years. So it was a great start on where we're going with that. Also had the chance to address the police department last week. Talked to both of those two different days to address everyone, but feel that we're on the right track with our police department. Everything is moving forward there. A lot of positive feedback. The mayor and I met with Missy Timmons today with a group from Comcast. Had a great meeting with them. It was really great to put some faces to names of Comcast, of the construction and the government affairs folks who do work in this area, and the growth that Comcast has coming not only to Bay County but to the Panhandle overall. So it was a great meeting and some good contacts for us in the future if we need them. And just to clarify, the leak that we had back in August was not the fire line. It was a 2-inch domestic line. But we will get the public records request fulfilled tonight for all of that information. Also, any questions for Kiki, and then I've got one more thing after that.
I also wanted to make sure you knew that the city did receive an insurance payment with regard to that plumbing failure. The payment was received in November of 25. It was for $192,044.05.
And the expense you all approved to ServPro for that restoration was in the ballpark of $102,000.
$866.57 to ServPro. We did have a couple of other miscellaneous expenses.
And that was approved by the commission. And any questions for Kiki for the checklist?
No, just one quick. It was a separate meeting, so since we gavelled into a separate one, I'm going to publicly give you kudos to you and your team here. For those of you that weren't here, at 5 o'clock, we had an outside auditor come in, a CPA, that spent quite a significant amount of time going through Kiki's books for her and her team for the current year budget, the one we're actually executing, or have executed, rather, I should say. Last year, when they came in and did this, there were 18 issues. This year it was down to 2, and they were minor. They had nothing but good things to say about the books, the record keeping, and the tight operation that Kiki runs with her and her team. So publicly, thank you. It even earned her the call sign of Squeaky because she's so squeaky clean and straight shooting. When she walks on the tile floor, she squeaks. She's so tight with fun. So that is a very good thing and a true compliment. We truly appreciate you and your team.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I'm very proud of the finance team. They did a wonderful job.
And Mayor, if I may, steal 2 minutes of the time. I don't know if you've all heard yet, but we've got the podcast out. We released the second episode last week, and would like to play a little bit of a trailer just to have it out for the folks watching the meeting that haven't seen it yet, to kind of advertise it and get it out there. Great thing put together by Ty and River, and we'll just kind of showcase the podcast for 2 minutes, if you don't mind.
Sure. Nice.
So River's been doing a great job of getting that out. And if you haven't already, we'd ask that you subscribe to it. And we'll definitely have a different episode every week and showcase something here in the city.
Yeah, and she volunteers to do all this, so tell her thank you for all she's doing.
He has a great podcasting voice for sure.
It's nice. All right. So last but certainly not least, our caboose for tonight, the city attorney, Mr.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes, sir. I do have one item. As the commission instructed at the last special meeting, I got together with Mr. Lightfoot with the advice of Commissioner Warwick and input from all the commission. And we have a city manager contract for your approval and review. It's been distributed to the commission earlier today. It's unchanged from that version, and we await your decision.
Okay. Any questions, comments, discussion among the board?
Thank you, Commissioner Warwick, for leading that up.
Thank you. All right. How do y'all want to move forward on this tonight? You want to review it and prepare it for the next meeting? Are y'all ready to approve it tonight? We did, unfortunately, we already lost one of our commissioners, so, but we still have a quorum. It's really up to y'all, how y'all want to proceed with this tonight. Want to schedule it for the next meeting for approval, or do you want to approve it tonight?
I'm good either way.
Gentlemen?
I guess what I will say is that get some highlights since people are here listening. It's a shorter term than the last contract. Is it 3 years? Right?
Yes, sir. I can summarize the terms
Sure.
if you'd like me to do that.
Go ahead.
Sure. So the terms of the contract are salary is $155,000 a year. There's a car allowance of $500 a month. Leave, he is giving up his right to accrue leave for now. We'll get a payout of his current leave, and then we'll be limited to leave for 3 weeks from here on out with permission from or notification to the commission. It's a 3-year term with a severance of 20, 16, and 6 weeks, which is similar to what we've done before. And the residency requirement, he has 1 year to move into the city and comply with the city charter, and that was because the charter is being reviewed right now, and that requirement may change. Those are the major material terms of the contract.
Okay. So I'm good either way. Just curious how y'all want to close this out tonight. I'm sure Mr. Lightfoot would like finality sooner rather than later, but I'm good either way.
The contract has been agreed upon by
All parties. I
Yeah.
believe.
Contract has been agreed to by Mr. Lightfoot, and this is the commission's agreement of the contract.
All right. Well, so based on the highlights, looking at this contract versus the previous contract, it's less money, less time, less car allowance, less leave. I feel like we're saving the city money here. So, as from a financial standpoint, it's a no-brainer to me. And then, a 3-year contract kind of puts it on a 3-year pillow prove it contract type of deal versus, like a longer term, say 5 years. In baseball, we call it a pillow contract. It's a short contract. The player has to prove themselves, and then they may get a bigger contract in the future if they prove themselves. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Commissioner Pruno?
I'm good if you guys are all good. I mean, the only thing is that we don't have a commissioner here, so I don't know how you feel about
agree.
that.
If you want to wait for Commissioner Tender, I'm on board with that.
Oh,
Sure.
we just, I mean, knowing how the vote went Monday, I mean, I don't know if she's going to have insight or what, but
Well, tonight, we can
if
publicly
she was on the
discuss it.
phone, if she was here, it'd be let's go ahead. But I mean, it's up to you guys.
Well, we could try to call her back and wrap this up tonight.
I don't know if that'll work.
She's probably got 5% right now.
Yeah. So
She
to
had
be
10.
fair, to
It's
be
been-
fully transparent and fair on this, we just publicly talk about it tonight, and then that'll be one of the first things on the agenda for our next meeting then, and we'll go ahead.
Would you like it as an agenda item next time? And
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and put it new business. That way Commissioner Tender can be here. We can discuss it tonight. Real quick, the only thing I, being an Air Force guy, was kind of scratching my head on was the automobile benefits. And the thing that gained clarity for me on this was the city manager is a contracted employee. They're not a normal city employee. So they typically are not allowed to use government vehicles unless you issue them one and assign them one. And so instead of getting him a pickup truck with all the bells and whistles of a public works person, which he still has the certifications and has the ability to do on behalf of the city, allowing him to use his own vehicle and paying him $500 versus $750 a month we did with the prior city manager, I believe, actually is more cost effective. He continues to use his own personal vehicle. He doesn't get mileage, so if he goes to Pensacola or Tallahassee, that's literally part of his monthly allowance. So that's new and different to me as a retired Air Force guy. And I've got a couple other Air Force veterans up here. You know, if you had a wing commander or a group commander, they would be assigned a government vehicle, and that's what they would use, right? So this was a little different to me, but I get it now, and it's actually more cost effective to do it this way. And it gives the city manager more flexibility to use their own vehicle. And whereas if they used a city-issued vehicle, it would be much more limited. They couldn't stop at Publix. They couldn't do, you know, those kind of things. So this makes sense to me. That was the only question I had, and I'm good otherwise. So any other discussions before we wrap this up?
I'm good as well, but I just know that we make our decisions as 5, not 4 if we can. You know what I mean? So
We'll save it. But just public discussion tonight. Anything else y'all want to discuss or say about the contract? Other than
I'm
thank
all
you.
good. If all parties have agreed and, you know, beneficial to all concerned, truth, fair to all concerned, let's move forward. So
Well, a special thanks to Mr. Jackson, our city attorney, and Commissioner Ward for spearheading this on behalf of the commission. Thank you, Mr. Lightfoot, for your due attention to detail and working with them. I guess that wraps us up tonight. If there's nothing else for the good of the order, everybody have a good